I'm Misha Hadaway, CEO and owner of Gentle Mama Counseling, and you're tuned into Ladies Power Lunch.
Hi, I'm Nadine Keller, CEO of Precision Sales Coaching and Training, and you are tuned into the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Debbie Sodergren, the CEO of Up Vibrations, and you are plugged into the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Christy Sullivan, human design expert, author, and speaker, and you are tuned in to the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Keisha Zulo, president of Events of Joy, and you're tuned into the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Mary Colangelo. I'm an international fashion therapist, and you are tuned in to the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm LaQuisha Clemens, the CEO of Freedom Life Therapy and Wellness. You are tuned in to the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Kiana Coachman Strickland, also known as DJ Q Boogie. I'm the founder of Female DJ Association, and you are tuned into the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Grow Your Business Smarter, Live Your Optimal Life show. Thank you so much for joining us here today. For those of you who are new, hi, I'm Dr. Davia Shepherd. In addition to hosting this show, I also host a women's group called Ladies Power Lunch. And I want to take a moment to just explain to you what Ladies Power Lunch is, because I also want to give you an invitation to come join us. Ladies Power Lunch is an amazing place where women in business, it's completely free of cost to you, but women in business come together to support each other. And basically, it's built on this idea that the thing that you're struggling with in your business, the thing I'm struggling with in my business, the thing our guest today is struggling with in her business is something that, you know, somebody else has gone through that already. They've been there, they've done that. They've, like we like to say on this show, they've bought that t-shirt. They know how you can get from point A to point B. I'll give you a classic example. This morning, I had one of my very, very dear friends and Ladies Power Lunch members stop into the office, and she said to me, you know, I had a chance to look at your website. There are a couple of things on, and she's not a website developer, she's just a woman in business. There are a couple of things on your website that you could improve. And she sat me down and she gave me a list of about 5 things that I could do on my website. One of them is AI related and AI driven, and she showed me exactly how to incorporate that into my website. So I'll hand off that information to my web developer and we'll get that going. But it's just the idea that there's so many women in business and we could all be doing so much better if we lend each other our expertise. And that's what Ladies Power Lunch is all about. So that whole roundabout my way of inviting you to come join this movement of women who are here supporting each other all day long, every single day. You can join us. It's completely free. Just go to growsmarter.com/log in, and there you will have the opportunity to become a part of this vibrant community. So the folks that we have on our show and that we interview, they are members of our Ladies Power Lunch community who are experts at the thing that they do, and they come and they share their gifts and talents with us. My hope is that at the end of the show, every single time, you'll be able to take something away and go implement that in your business and actually see some traction. So before I get all carried away talking about how much I love Ladies Power Lunch, which you can join for free by going to growsmarter.com/login. Before I dive into that deep well, I want to take a moment to just say on with this show and introduce to you today's guest. We're going to talk a little bit about social media today. And if you're watching along and you have ever felt any kind of trepidation about social media, just go ahead and raise your hand. Type yes in the chat, type me in the chat, because I know that social media is something that we all have to do for our businesses, but not everybody feels that level of comfort with it. And so today we're really, really excited to welcome Morgan Parker, who is outstanding when it comes to social media, and she helps her clients be better on social media. And she's here to chat with us today. Morgan, welcome. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much, Dr. Davia. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. So Morgan, can you share with everybody a little bit about who you are and just tell us a little bit about the sort of work that you do with your clients?
Absolutely. So as Dr. Davia said, my name is Morgan Parker, and I am the owner and operator of Morgan Social Studio, which is a content curation and creation studio where I help my clients amplify their voice online, especially through social media. The reason that I got started was because right after college, I took a job as a marketing and operations manager for a startup real estate brokerage where I single-handedly built their social media presence from the ground up, and actually their marketing presence overall. So I got some real experience in what it took to actually take something from zero to hero, for lack of a better phrase. So after that, COVID happened and I was left with no job just because this real estate brokerage was brand new and they didn't have a lot to go off of. So the owner offered me the opportunity to not necessarily be a full-time employee anymore, but to be a client because I had already started my business as a side gig. So it was with that I decided that I was going to take this business full time, no matter what it meant, in order to amplify the voices of small businesses online. And that is why I do what I do.
I love that. I love that you have that real world experience of going from doing having a company that's not doing very much on social media to actually growing their presence and making their business more profitable. The number one question I would ask you is when you see folks on social media, what's the one thing that they seem to be struggling with? People like your clients or just observing people on social media in general?
The one thing that I hear consistently is I don't know what to post. And that can be answered in a couple of different ways. I am in no way encouraging anyone to post just to post, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. If your posts have no purpose or depth to what it is that you're posting about, you're not really going to find that connection with your audience. People don't want to know how it works. They want to know what it is that you can do for them. And that's what that should be the top thing that you are addressing through your social media channels.
Why are people struggling so much with social media? I mean, I feel as though it's kind of a big challenge for most businesses. Why isn't it just easy? Why doesn't it just come naturally for us?
Social media is one of those things where it seems like it's this big behemoth of a thing to tackle when it can be so easy. And honestly, one of the biggest things to overcome when it comes to social media is one, that imposter syndrome, but two, any self esteem that you have surrounding putting yourself in front of an audience and sharing your expertise, because that's what's going to draw people in. Your expertise is going to put you out there as an industry expert and grow your know, like, trust factor. And by growing that, that's when you're going to see people interacting with you through your social media channels and where you're going to start getting an ROI. Social media is not, it's not necessarily a sales type of deal. It's one of those things where you really have to build it up in order to start seeing ROI on those channels. So taking a step back and realizing that your audience doesn't want to see not like the nitty gritty, but they want to see the face behind the company and they want to understand what it is that you do and what you can do for them.
You mentioned imposter syndrome. How is that showing up with folks that you're seeing online? What does that really mean in terms of social media?
I've found that many of my clients, when they're experiencing imposter syndrome, they feel like their expertise is an actual expertise, if that makes sense. Like they think that the helpful things that help them run their company, like the technical side of what it is that they're doing, isn't actually helpful to their audience when it is. So they know these things about their industry and about their company, and they don't think that it's helpful to their audience when it in fact could be.
So
They
they're
just have to know the
probably
right way to put it.
right. They're probably too close to it. So they're thinking, oh, nobody wants to see that, when really and truly people want to see that. That's so
Yeah, that's why
funny.
behind the scenes is so big right now. Doing behind the scenes filming or showing what it is that you do, people love that stuff right now.
That's awesome. I find it so interesting that you say that because we just moved our office. So the recording studios of Ladies Power Lunch has actually moved from next door over to here. And we had one little stupid video of, I think we made it a boomerang, and it was basically us with boxes. We were literally moving, taking the empty boxes into the office to get them packed up and then move them out. And we were just being silly. And it was so interesting how much engagement that silly video got because it was us in jeans behind the scenes with cardboard boxes in our hands. That was so, so strange. Why do you think something like that got so much more traction than our post saying to everybody, hey, we're moving, we're going to be next door?
I personally think that that was the case for you, specifically because people were seeing you beyond what it is that you do professionally. So you were moving your office, which is a chiropractic office, if I'm
Yes.
correct. Yes, so they were seeing you not only as a chiropractor, but as a person who goes through these things every single day, like moving. That's a very normal thing for people to do. So
Mhm.
they're taking you from being on this pedestal to just being a normal person that you can talk to and relate to on an everyday basis.
Yeah. I definitely learned something from just seeing how well that post did on social media compared to some of the facts and figures kinds of posts that we would usually do. So that leads me into my next question. As we are trying to make our social media presence more impactful and more meaningful, what are some of the things that you see us that you think we should be doing more of? And what are some of the things that we need to cut that stuff out?
That's a great question. So a couple of things that I've seen that are great. More people are getting into short form video content, which just means small little clips. It does not have to be long. It doesn't have to be even a minute because people's attention spans are shrinking by the second. So having it where you're sharing a 15-second clip of what it is that you're doing that day, that's your behind the scenes, that's perfect. And one thing that I've been seeing a lot of people doing that isn't so great is they're utilizing AI for their copywriting, which is fantastic. I think you should save time where it is that you can save time. But where the
Mhm.
mistake lies is doing that as a copy and paste job. So, going into ChatGPT and typing in whatever prompt it is that you would like for your social media caption, that's perfectly fine. But don't make it a complete copy and paste job. Don't take what ChatGPT gives you and just copy paste. Take a minute to look at it and edit it and make it sound more like yourself and more like your brand voice.
Yeah, I think, and we had somebody on the show a couple of episodes ago who was talking about AI, and basically the things that you're saying are things that she was saying too. Like AI is a wonderful tool, and you can make it work better for you when you edit it so it sounds like your voice. So that makes perfect sense. Morgan, I know you've had lots of different clients. You've, used social media to really help support them and their business. Do you have a story about a client that you helped to go from just not doing well to actually seeing their business improve? Can you share a story like that with us?
This one is more of a simple story. It's not a zero to hero story, but it's definitely, it shows the impact of what your social media channels can do for you
Hmm.
on an organic level, not necessarily through paid advertisements. But I had a client who, when she came to me, she didn't know what to post, which is the most common pain point that I get. And so I did my normal building out social media schedules and graphic designing, copywriting. This is before AI blew up, so I was writing everything by hand. Um, and slowly she started to gain more clients because when people went and looked her up, her and her business, her social media channels were up to date and there were always frequent, consistent posts. And so they knew that this business was active and had the budget
Mm.
to advertise and therefore had this know, like, trust factor because they were consistently sharing information. They were sharing what they knew through their social media channels. So she saw this slow buildup of more and more clientele just based on the fact that there were consistent posts on her page.
I love that story because a lot of people who are doing the work that they do, a lot of the folks who watch along with us, they might be entrepreneurs or they might be solopreneurs. And so they're the ones doing a lot of the things in their business and they don't have the consistency with their social media. And so maybe they posted a couple of months ago on one web platform and didn't post on another one. And so somebody who's looking them up on their favorite platform might see a very out of date post when they look at their information. So having somebody who can keep that going is really, really beneficial. Who, Morgan, are the kinds of people who get the best benefit from working with you? Like, what do you bring to the table for them?
It's funny that you asked that because I somehow have fallen into this niche that I didn't realize that I was in, but now that I've had time to think about it and reflect on it, I find myself working with female entrepreneurs over the age of 40 who don't understand how to utilize social media in the best way for their business. And also just developing the idea of where you should spend your time on social media because there are so many different platforms these days. And so knowing where that audience is going to lie for you, where the demographics are going to be for your target audience, we can figure that out together so that your efforts are not in vain, if that makes sense. So I take the fuss and frustration surrounding that entire idea of having your business on social media and packaging it up very nice. My favorite word is zhuzh. I zhuzh everything. So if you tell me a very simple idea, or even if I hear something in passing, I take the idea, I zhuzh it, and then I put it into a package that is delivered to your audience in a nice, nice and tidy way that they would best understand and best respond to.
Yeah, I definitely like that. Folks wonder too, where should they be on social media? Like which platforms are right for them? What are your preferences for a woman in business who might be trying to decide where to put her attention? Is it Instagram?
Good question.
TikTok?
I'm
Is it
I'm gonna
LinkedIn?
refer I'm gonna refer back to the answer of it really depends on where your target audience is going to be. So like for that like 35 to 40 over demographic, you're probably going to find most of them on Facebook. Most of them probably at least like the millennials, they kind of joined Facebook when it was this brand new thing and have kind of stuck with it. That's not to say that they're not on Instagram because they definitely are. We're seeing more and more millennials show up on Instagram. But for your 40 over crowd, you're going to see most of them on Facebook. You're not going to see as many of them on Instagram. For the folks that are around my age, I am your favorite Gen Z social media expert. It's going to be Instagram and TikTok. So it really depends on where you're trying to garnish that community from. And all three of those platforms have been known to gather great communities of people. So you just have to know who it is that you're looking for.
I want to circle back to that TikTok conversation, but before we launch into TikTok, which could probably be a whole show all by itself, and I think there's going to be an opportunity for me to bring you back on a show to talk about TikTok. Can we talk a little bit about LinkedIn? When
Yeah,
it comes to women in business, what are your thoughts about how we should be approaching LinkedIn?
good question. So this is where I kind of divide businesses into two different categories. And you've
Hmm.
probably heard this before, either B2C or B2B. So
Hmm.
if you are B2C, LinkedIn is probably not going to be your place, depending on what it is, what products and services you offer. But if you
Hmm.
are a B2B service, so like myself, I service other small businesses, then LinkedIn is going to be instrumental in at least showing up. If not, it's going to be the place where you interact the most because you want to garnish the attention of other business owners or of decision makers within those businesses. So that's kind of where I see LinkedIn falling within uh, the importance of business and social media.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I think, for example, when we are looking at social media for our practice, we are looking at Facebook, we are looking at Instagram. When we are looking at social media for our show, we are looking at LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, but LinkedIn because the folks that we are inviting to come join our revolution of women supporting women in business, they're all on LinkedIn. That's where they live, that's their home. So I think I get what you're saying about choosing what you do based on who your client is. We're going to get to TikTok, but what about some things that people probably don't think of as social media, like Pinterest, YouTube? How does that factor into the whole social media plan when you are talking to clients?
That's a good question. So Pinterest, I feel like um, appeals to a very particular type of business. So I have a client who is an interior designer. Her
Mm,
type of business, Pinterest is going to be instrumental for her because she can share things that she's designed or just inspo ideas that she has through Pinterest, and that can garnish her attention in the right space. Um, it's not very like geographically based like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok are, but Pinterest can still garnish the attention if, especially if you're headed in the direction of upgrading yourself from just being on social media and then moving yourself into the influencer space, which can also be true for YouTube. YouTube, if you like to share tons and tons of expertise and it takes a long time, then that's something that you can put on YouTube. If you teach a workshop and you want to reuse the content from that workshop and build it into a YouTube video to garnish yourself more attention, absolutely do it. And that's not to say either that you can't use your TikToks and Instagram Reels in order to create YouTube Shorts, which is a newer concept as well. So utilizing everything that you have, all of the digital assets that you have in the right way to best fit your audience, if that makes sense.
I love that. Love, love, love that. Because again, giving an example from us and our business, posting about our practice and our patient care on Pinterest, I mean, it might help, but not the most. But then we do have our publications, our Ladies Power Lunch books. And I want to tell you that posting about them on Pinterest, people like that. So it depends on what you're doing. And then we do a lot of our TV shows and our workshops and things like that. And so we always have a ton of content, and all of that we just posted on YouTube. If folks are YouTube, as Morgan will share with everybody, it belongs to Google. Google owns it. And when you do some research, it's the #2 search engine in the world. And so if you do anything, I say, even if you're posting it on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, also post it on YouTube, because it puts it in the SEO. It gets you kind of recognized that way as well. So I love that. Now, I'm going to ask you about TikTok, and then next I want to talk to you a little bit about repurposing content. So many of the folks who are watching along with us right now, Morgan, they're scared of TikTok. They're scared of TikTok. I had one of our guests on the show, it might have been last week, and she said, I'm not going on TikTok because I'm not going to dance. Give us a reason. Tell us why, as millennials or Gen
Gen
Y.
X.
Well, I think a lot of people, maybe Gen X, Gen Y, millennials who watch this show. How can we feel a little bit more comfortable about TikTok? What can we do on TikTok that's not dancing or some crazy stuff?
Like I said before, behind the scenes is huge right now.
Mhm.
And I think it will continue to be huge. The other misconception that I think people have about TikTok is that they like have this premonition about when things go viral. Literally anything can go viral, like the dumbest things go viral on TikTok. So just continuously showing up and not being afraid to be silly. And I don't mean in the way of dancing in front of the camera, because that phase, that trend has kind of passed. That was like a lockdown COVID type of thing. And I feel like we're just not there anymore. A lot of people are doing like get ready with me. So if you look under the hashtag GRWM, get ready with me, it's literally just people talking to the camera while they're doing their makeup or they're doing their skincare and talking about whatever topic it is. So if you have a hot take that you would like to share that day, that is the time to do it, because people want to see that behind the scenes. They want to see the person behind the company. But like I said, no one can tell anything about what is going to go viral just because it could be anything.
So what are your tips for us for choosing what we do on TikTok? I mean, we are babes in the woods. We're completely lost when it comes to TikTok.
I would say it is a game of like whatever you feel comfortable sharing. But the more that you let your audience get to know you, the more that no like trust factor is going to be built. And that doesn't even necessarily have to apply to your business either, because I have a personal TikTok that I post on all the time, and I get more engagement just on the normal everyday things that I'm doing than sometimes that I get on my business TikTok. So taking the time to understand that not everything's going to perform well. The algorithm is like this very unknown thing since it's changing all of the time. That's what you have people like me for, trying to keep up to date with what the algorithm is doing. But just understanding that getting yourself in front of that camera and putting yourself out there is half the battle. So if you can tackle that and just share what it is that you do and share why it is that you do it, and share any tips, exclusive tips and tricks, and then, I mean, like infuse your advertising here and there. It shouldn't be the whole point of your TikTok or any social media channel, but just sharing who you are as a person through TikTok, through videos, because people are going to learn more about you through a video than they are of just a picture of you.
I like that. And I think I'm really gonna take your advice, because we've done a lot with our publications on TikTok, because TikTok has book talk and all this other stuff where it makes it really friendly for authors. But when it comes to things like promoting our show or our podcast or even our practice, we have never used TikTok for that, because I don't know, I never really thought that it was the right vehicle, but I see now, listening to you, that it really, really could be a good way for us to expand our audience. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. People, especially in the chiropractic space, I don't know about anybody else, but people who love the crack videos.
I don't like those cat videos.
But that's really big on TikTok, so maybe that's something to consider. I don't know.
I know. I can probably do a video about why I don't like those crap videos. I'm sure
That's a great idea. That's your
lots of
hot
people would
take.
wanna tune into that to understand why that's not really what happens when you go into the office.
And it's also just like besides the point of chiropractic care too. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's a great
really.
video idea though. That is excellent
We heard
content.
it here first, folks. Morgan just, without even batting an eyelid, Morgan just gave me ideas for what my next post on TikTok is going to be. So amazing. I mean, I love that. That's awesome. I want to ask you one last question before you go, Morgan, and it's about content. Now, you say that a lot of the folks who come to you, they don't know what to post. I also know though that a lot of the people who come to you have a lot of content, like just sitting around, perhaps doing nothing. How do you feel about repurposing content for social media? How can we do that the best way?
I feel like one, it's a great time saver when it's used appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go back to my interior design client because she's one of my longest standing clients. So we've been working together for years and years at this point. She has this great video that she created around the holidays a few years ago about how to transition your tablescape for your Thanksgiving table into one for the holidays without spending tons of money. And so, like, how to best do that. That's something that we use every single year because it's so relevant. It's appropriate for the time of year. So things like that, where the intention and the subject matter are still relevant to today, perfectly fine. But you know, that's like okay, it's like doing a TikTok dance right here, right now on TikTok in this day and age after lockdown. Like nobody's doing that anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
So paying close attention to what is trending, what's going on in the industry space that you're in, and then deciding whether the content that you had in the past is recyclable because some of it will be and some of it won't be. Um, but also using the digital assets that you have and cutting them in different ways to make it so that you can repurpose it in a different way. You can repackage it and present it in a different way that you did the first time and it still be relevant.
I love that. And something that might be relevant that might not be relevant today might actually end up coming right back around and being relevant later on. So hanging on to all of that content is such a great idea.
Oh
I,
yeah, hanging on to digital assets in general,
Mhm.
um, you're always going to want those on hand because it's so much better to have more digital assets than what you need than not enough.
Yeah, I love that. And then the other question that I've had folks ask is, I have an idea of what I want to post, and I'm going to go ahead and post that on, let's say, for example, Facebook. Is it okay to make that same post on, that's not Twitter now, is it X? Is it okay to go ahead and post that same post on LinkedIn, Instagram, put it in the same post in all the places? How do you feel about that?
I think, yes, I think you can do that. But again, it's one of those things where you have to pay attention to who your audience is. So something that you post on Facebook and Instagram might not be worth posting on, say, LinkedIn. Because I do have some clients who are they're a combo of B2C and B2B.
Mhm.
So knowing when it is that you should differentiate between the different platforms and knowing what you should post on different platforms and not necessarily on the professional ones, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense because I feel like the post with us running through the office with cardboard boxes in our jeans probably might not have played as well on LinkedIn as it did on, Facebook and Instagram. So that makes perfect sense. I love that. Any final words, Morgan? Anything that just stands out? Like if you could just wrap your arms around us and give us one last piece of advice, what would that be?
Don't let your self-esteem stop you from getting your business out there, getting your messaging out there, and letting your audience know that you are here and you are open for business. Don't let that stop you. Don't let the internal voice stop you from what it is that you need to do in order to make your business successful and seen on social media.
I love that you said that because a lot of people, and I'm not going to lie, myself included, we look on social media and we see the bright, shiny posts from people who might be in business spaces that are similar to ours. And we might start feeling as though, yeah, that's way better than mine. I'm just not gonna post. I'm not gonna share my stuff. And then the world is a less bright, shiny place because you haven't shared your input with the folks who are losing sleep at night because you are the person that they need to connect with and nobody else. So
Exactly. Get rid of the notion that everything that you put out on social media needs to be perfect.
And sometimes we might think that no one is seeing or no one is watching because we're not seeing those likes pile up. And I'm here to tell you that there are people who are watching your stuff. They might not be liking or commenting, but they're seeing it and it's making a difference for them. So go ahead and participate. Go ahead and share your gifts and talents with the world through social media. And not only will it help others, but it also will help to grow your business. Folks want to
Absolutely.
know how to connect with you, Morgan. How can people work with you?
So you can connect with me in a few different ways. I do have a website, www.morgansocialstudio.com, and there is a contact form in a couple of different pages on my website. And those get automatically fed to my email, so I will see them. My email is morgan@morgansocialstudio.com, and then I am also on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and TikTok.
All the things. You're on all
Doing
the
it
things.
all.
Doing it all. So she's not just teaching us how to do it, but she's also setting an outstanding example for us. I'm excited, Morgan, because we have coming, so we've changed our format a little bit. So the first couple of weeks of the month, we actually do share with you here on our show with a member who is just outstanding at what she does. But then on the third week of the month, we bring a group of experts together and we host a panel discussion. And I'm excited to say that coming up, Morgan is actually going to be one of our panel members. The beauty of this is you get to hop on live and you actually get to ask Morgan any questions that you might have about social media. And so I would say start writing your questions down now because coming soon, you're going to have an opportunity to chat to Morgan. It's always going to be on that third Tuesday of the month that we have that live panel discussion. And you can connect with us by going to growsmarter.notharder.com/TV. We start, if you want to join us live, at 11 a.m. Eastern. And we go on till 12 noon. And we are broadcast, of course, live on your Apple TV and your Roku TV and your Fire TV. So if you want to catch us through those media, you're also welcome to do that. But I really, really would love for those of you who have questions about Morgan. Was there something we didn't cover today that is a burning topic in your mind? Come join us live, growsmarter.harder.com/TV. It's the third Tuesday of the month that we have these live panel discussions. And I'd love, love, love for you to be a part of it. And I know Morgan would love to be able to answer your questions as well. At the end of every show, Morgan, I like to pull a card. And today, for some reason, I feel like this particular deck is calling the Divine Abundance deck. And the reason I think it's pinging for me that this is the card that we need to pull is because, one of the reasons why we are all sharing about our businesses on social media is to grow our visibility and our income and our abundance and our prosperity. So what better deck to pull from than Tosha Silver's Divine Abundance deck? And I like the cards because I don't consider them to be predictive. I do know, though, that they can sometimes give you an opportunity for something that might be bouncing around in your head to be considered in a different way. So let's see what the cards want to share with us today. This is interesting. This one says, letting go. And it says, everything is indeed out of control, and God will hold it all. I can safely let go. What's this saying to you in light of the conversation that we've been having today?
For me personally,
Yeah, just in terms of this conversation that we've been having about social media, what does letting go, how's letting go tying into that conversation?
I think we've definitely talked a lot about letting go of like expectations and letting go of our imposter syndrome and letting go of
Mhm.
that internal voice that's telling you that you can't do things or be on camera or that you're not pretty enough or not skinny enough in order to make yourself a social media presence.
I think I think this is the perfect card to pull because it's just saying, hey, just let go and just do it. It's fine. Everything is fine. Everything is okay. It's okay. And I constantly believe that we are all here with purpose and that we actually have an opportunity to share our businesses and share our gifts and talents with the world. And that in doing so, we do help the world to be a better place. And that when we're not sharing, when we're not posting on social media, we're actually not doing as much as we could to,
Yeah, you're doing yourself and your business a disservice.
and the folks who are needing the work that you do. Thank you so much, Morgan, for being on the show today. Really, truly appreciate having you on. You are such a wealth of information. Thank you, everybody, for watching along. It's been my pleasure to host you. I want to invite everybody, if you're not already a member of our Ladies Power Lunch community, this outstanding international community of women who believe in this idea that when we support each other, that everybody wins. This outstanding community of women who basically put their money where their mouth is, and they've said, okay, we are going to share at no cost to you our expertise like Morgan has done here today, given us so much information. These women are all waiting to wrap their arms around you and help you grow your business. And all it takes for you to be a part of that is to go to growsmarternotharder.com/login. And there you'll see all the resources that we have. So thanks so much for watching along, and I'll see you on the next show. Bye, everyone.
Hi, I'm Misha Hadaway, CEO and owner of Gentle Mama Counseling, and you're tuned into Ladies Power Lunch.
Hi, I'm Nadine Keller, CEO of Precision Sales Coaching and Training, and you are tuned into the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Debbie Sodergren, the CEO of Up Vibrations, and you are plugged into the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Christy Sullivan, human design expert, author, and speaker, and you are tuned in to the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Keisha Zulo, president of Events of Joy, and you're tuned into the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Mary Colangelo. I'm an international fashion therapist, and you are tuned in to the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Lakeisha Clemens, the CEO of Freedom Life Therapy and Wellness. You are tuned in to the Ladies Power Lunch Show.
Hi, I'm Kiana Coachman Strickland, also known as DJ Q Boogie. I'm the founder of Female DJ Association, and you are tuned into the Ladies Power Lunch Show.